Oh, will you turn that light off for me? Yep. Hi, everybody. It's Rose Garden Radio live from the very center of the universe, Canton, Ohio. Yay! Thanks for being here. Sorry, I'm running just a little bit late, and but we had a lot of wonderful people in. Let me try to get this light on a little higher. There we go. See if I can get that to stay bright like that. Oh, there it is. Okay, nobody move. How am I gonna get that to stay? Let's see. See, I can really see the difference when that goes on. What is going on there? Yeah, that's a little better. Okay. Well, I've got a great story for you today, a great pie story, as I promised. And it is a real one. And it is a fabulous one. And so Rose Garden Radio, this is your first time joining, is dedicated to helping you shift from 3D to what we call 5D, just living fully from your heart, living your dream life. And the pie theory is created to help you do that, because it's as easy as pie. Yay! So I'm drawing the pie. This is your pie. It could be any kind of pie. It could be an apple pie, a key lime pie with coconut cream, whatever you want. And in the center, and this pie really represents this circle, your whole life right now. And the good, the bad, the job, the kids, everything. Everything is in this pie. But what we're dedicated to is finding that first slice where of the idea of something that you want. And that starts with the desire deep in your heart. Okay. And the story I'm going to tell you is kind of interesting, because sometimes things don't happen chronologically like we think they're going to happen. This story started with a sincere, deep wish in Allison's heart. And let me get to it. So Allison, this is actually a cousin of mine, was with her husband. They were newly married, and they didn't even have kids yet, but they had just been living in Arizona for a while, and they came back to Canton, the hometown, and they were in their in-laws neighborhood. And Allison, they drove by this house, and Allison was like, oh my God, I would love to live in that house someday. This house is like the best house that I can imagine. So that was the first slice. All right. And honestly, you know what I think that I'm remembering correctly? And this is why it gets interesting, that was the first slice. And Allison didn't even know that she was making a wish deep in her heart. Okay. So they did end up moving to Arizona. They stayed there a couple years. They came back to the center of the universe here in Canton, Ohio. And they were really looking for a house for their family. They have 3 kids and beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous children. I love them. And so they started to put letters. You won't believe this. They started to put letters. They wrote a letter about, there's just this couple with 3 great kids, and they're looking for the perfect family home. And they were going around putting these letters in mailboxes, right? And I thought, when they told me that, I thought, that's the craziest idea I think I've ever heard. Who does that? I don't know, right? It just seemed a little weird. I mean, just houses they liked, they weren't even for sale. So let me just get this. I feel like it's, oh, there we go. That's better. Hey, hello. Anyways, they start putting these letters in all these mailboxes of houses that they loved, right? And they put one in Alice's dream home. And I didn't know they put one there, and I didn't know that was her dream home at the time. But as this story unfolded, so they could, they didn't find a house, didn't find a house, didn't find a house. And then you'll never believe this. That person that lived in that house died. Their dream house died. And their kids came and they were going through all this junk mail piled up and all this. And they found the letter that they had wrote. And they called them. They didn't even put the house on the market. They made a deal and they bought that house. Okay. Wow. That's an incredible story. But you would think it would stop here. And when Allison told me this story, because I knew they had bought that house, but I didn't know the backstory, I was like, oh my gosh, Allison, you manifested that. You manifested that all those years ago, feeling deep in your heart that you wanted to live in that house. It's incredible. But you won't believe the rest of the story. So they somehow reached out to one of those programs, because the house was a little bit over their budget. It really was. It's a huge, beautiful house. But you know how everything works out. It does. So that was a little over their budget. But they reached out to one of those shows, I swear to you, House Hunters. They got accepted. They made a show out of this, my cousins. And guess what? They give you some money for a down payment when you make that show. So they got some money to put towards that house as they were renovating it themselves and, doing all the work themselves. They got extra money from being on that show. I wish I knew the name of it. It was like House Hunters or something like that. So more magic happened. And they are now living in this beautiful dream home. And guess what else? It's like 2 or 3 doors down from their in-laws, which are wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people, babysitters there to, help the grandkids and close. And it's just the best circumstance that could ever happen. So the moral of this pie is it starts with a desire. I always say, just keep following, building your slice. And for Allison, she didn't even know she had put the knife in and created a slice. She just had a wish deep in her heart. And those do come true. It just, when it's pure and it's deep and it comes from your heart and you just put it out there. And I know maybe you've all had a similar experience, and you're like, oh, I can't believe that happened. Well, that is how it happens. And you draw that towards you. So that's my pie story, and I'm sticking to it. I'm going to have a big slice of it when I go home. And it's a great true story that happened right here in Canton, Ohio. So yay. I can't wait to hear your stories. And if you ever want to come in and just, if I can help you find that original slice and so you can grow it, I am all on your team to do it. So I love you guys. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time. All right. I might not be able to shut this off. It doesn't want me to go.
Oh.
It's got no button. Uh-oh. You're stuck with me. It's there. All right.